What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Physical Media Friday. As today, I have just a few things to show, things of interest, mostly things that have been mentioned to me in sort of the YouTube community. People have sent me some private messages making me aware of certain things, and I stumbled upon something kind of interesting. So I have about 3 items to show you in terms of film or TV, actually TV, and two out of the 3, and a couple books, one of which I reviewed yesterday. Let's just start with that. If you haven't seen my review of Masters of Ceremonies, the history of TV horror movie hosts in Nashville, Tennessee, written by Larry Underwood, aka Dr. Gangrene, please go back and check out that book review. Yeah, great book. Happy to have it. And here's another, and I have another one that I had to get it. I really enjoy a certain YouTube channel on Wednesdays. He actually has a couple channels now, so we'll get to that in a moment. But I have volume 1 of a book. Well, first of all, let's just start with a documentary that a lot of people have been making me aware of. Apparently, this came out some years back, 2015. Not too old, but it's Creature Feature: 60 Years of the Gill Man. I think it's about 74 minutes long. Okay. There's Ben Chapman on the back. He, of course, famously portrayed the creature, at least when he was on land, or maybe even ankle deep or knee deep in water, whereas Riku Browning portrayed the creature for the underwater scenes. Interviews. Featuring Ben Chapman, Julie Adams, Oscar winner Benicio del Toro, Arthur Ross, and more. Benicio del Toro, perhaps because he was starring in Universal's Wolfman. They just grabbed him for his thoughts on this. Narrated by Keith David. Wow. What a voice. Great voice. And then we have the special feature. So 74 minutes, but then this is really key. This has been bothering me for years. This has the Abbott and Costello Colgate Comedy Hour episode. Okay, back then they would have these sponsored TV shows with comedy duos or individuals, Colgate being one of them, all kinds of different oil companies, many of which are no longer around today, and so forth. So Abbott and Costello had a segment of their show dedicated to introducing the creature from the Black Lagoon. No one had ever seen it before. They, of course, famously made Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein with Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, Dracula. They've co-starred with Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, Glenn Strange, Lon Chaney Jr., cameo by Vincent Price, and one of them, also Abbott and Costello meets the Mummy. So a big overlap there with those two and the Universal monsters. So for years, I've seen this thing on eBay. You can get like a DVD of it, but it's 15 minutes long. I mean, I love the creature from the Black Lagoon, but 15 minutes long. I'm gonna buy a DVD, even if it's reasonably well priced, and pay the shipping. And I've always thought it was strange that 15-minute segment from the Abbott Costello Colgate Comedy Hour was not included in the special features of the Universal Legacy sets. I thought that was so bizarre. So finally, that's on here. And then we have Monsters HD interview with writer-producer, Creatures Cavalcade of Stars, John Goodwin, Creature makeup demo. Okay. Then came the Yawn vignette. Don't know what that is. They All Laughed vignette. Robert Taylor fan interview. Bruce Tinkle collector interview. I think I've seen Bruce Tinkle on YouTube before. I think he has some of the original creature suits where he talks about the different designs, for Revenge of the Creature. They went with like bigger eyes. Revenge of the Creature. Egrets. I've had a few. Anyway. So looking forward to watching this. Also, I got distracted when I was reading that before because I also noticed that Daniel Roebuck is in here. He's always fun to listen to. Daniel Roebuck also did a tribute to my local horror host, Dr. Shock. He had a show called Dr. Shocker. So really, really cool guy there. Looking forward to that. So I'm pretty sure Sean from Movie Assault and Kenny from Kenny's Movie Palace made me aware of this. Probably also Larry from the Horror Cat Dad. So if any of you guys obtained this yet and have you seen it, let me know in the comments below. And then we have some TV. All right. Patrick is doing, speaking of TV, I was on the Patrick's channel, Have Cheatable View. We discussed an episode of Have Gun Will Travel a while back, and we'll be discussing some more TV in the future. He actually had a really fun episode where he talked about an episode of Highlander with Roddy Piper. So I quickly said, all right, I'm going to watch it. and then watch his episode to prepare for it. Well, I only had season 1, and that was a season 2 episode. This may have been a little impulsive, but I found it on eBay for a cheap price.
Let me go ahead and open that.
So the same style as season 1, Highlander season 2, Adrian Paul audio and video commentary, 22 episodes, recently discovered lost scenes, producer and writer interviews, character profiles, Watcher Chronicles, scripts, photo gallery. Pretty decent amount of extra stuff in here. Okay, this was on at a time when I lived in an apartment, and this is before Harry came along. This is a while ago, considering Harry just graduated college the other day. And I had these 3 kids, and there wasn't a lot of room, and a lot of times we would go to the library, we would do activities on Saturday, and then I think this came on at 4 p.m, and a lot of times they would just sort of like just kind of play in the room and chill out, and I would make myself a cup of coffee and watch Highlander. And it was just like some sort of downtime for me. It just happened to be this was the show that was on. And then I started to get into Highlander Renegade. I think that was what it was called. I'm not really sure. Didn't really like that as much. Don't remember much about that at all. But I still remember that one episode that was kind of inspired by Shogun. It's a very Shogun-esque episode. That was a good one, though. I don't know what season that was on, but I did like the show. I didn't see all of it, though. I kind of picked it up in the middle. I don't remember. I never saw the first episode. Oh, we got a bunch of smushed up stuff there. I never saw the first episode, which I believe had Richard Mull in it. So I did watch that on the season 1 compilation. And I may have watched a few other episodes, but I kind of been getting, as you know, into some other episodes of TV lately. So I haven't, that's been on the back burner. Oh, a free gift. Highlander cataloged gift certificate. And then we got Highlander medallion series holder. Oh boy. Anybody have a Highlander medallion out there? It'd be actually kind of cool to have. Of course, we've got a reboot coming out, so we'll see how that goes. Will they have a Scottish actor playing a Spaniard, like in the first one? I don't think so. I forget who's cast as Ramirez, but I'll give it a chance, Anyway, but season 2 of Highlander. How many seasons were there? I don't know. We've got season 1 and 2, though. Pretty nice looking sets. Speaking of nice looking sets, how about that, Elvira? No, I'm sorry. That was bad. I'm sorry. And as many of you know, I have been getting more into Westerns and old Western series on the channel, and I have reviewed a few episodes of shows like Rawhide and The Rifleman, and I did start to watch The Virginian, which was an interesting show starring James Drury. It was in color, hour and a half time slot, so each episode is about an hour and 15 minutes long. Ran for about 9 years, I think, starting in the 60s up to 71. Rotating cast of characters in addition to some of the regulars like James Drury and Doug McClure. I've been enjoying it so far, but I only had picked up this season 1, part 1 before. Same thing I did with The Fugitive. And then, with The Fugitive, I flew through it. I got addicted to it. Must have been just like when it originally aired. I was hooked on it. And then I switched over to streaming. Then the streaming had all the episodes mislabeled. It was very frustrating. I was spending so much time trying to figure out which episode was which because I wanted to watch it in order. So eventually I'll get the whole series of The Fugitive and also of The Virginian. If I go this route where I keep buying half seasons, it's going to take me a while and it's going to cost me well. So there's a little bit of overlap here as I found the complete first season. But it's actually in this format here, which it was interesting. And this came well packaged in eBay, unlike that box I got from Groove. They had it in this cardboard sleeve, but also in a box full of padding. And this was from, it says, thank you, Stage B. Vintage, heirlooms, collectibles, music. So, great job packaging this. And it's actually kind of quaint because they have these sleeves where they've handwritten some of the guest stars. So it's pretty cool. So let me show you what it looks like. There's James Drury as the Virginian. Lee J. Cobb. Now, I know he's not going to last forever, but so far I've really been enjoying him. He's a great actor. He's had some real moments to shine on this show. It's a shame that he felt like, apparently he would eventually feel like there wasn't enough for him to do. Doug McClure. There you have Gary Clark, who kind of has short shrift as far as the pictures go, but I believe he was in I Was a Teenage Frankenstein, I believe, or maybe it was How to Make a Monster. I have talked about him on the channel. I enjoy his character. And there's James Drury again. Anyway, you get the idea. And, you just got to be a little bit careful taking out these sleeves. I guess the sleeves aren't really necessary. I'm not sure it came with it or if the previous owner decided to use paper sleeves, but I'm going to keep the paper sleeves for the time being. So, will I continue to go this route with the Virginian, or will I go with the half seasons? I'm open to either. I just think it's really cool to have at least one of these, even if I end up with the rest of the series looking like this. That's why I did that. But it depends what we see out in the wild in thrift stores. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to hit up a few thrift stores. I've never really done that on the channel. And maybe by the fall, if I've come up with nothing, I might, at least get the next season so I can keep going, because I really enjoy that show. And then we have a book. Oh, the other book. Okay, this is a channel. It's Wednesday today as I'm recording this, and I just watched an episode of Sick Flicks, which is a YouTube channel hosted by Mike Bracken. He also has a channel called Grindhouse Gospel. I recommend both of those channels. This is a sort of compilation of some of his reviews. He goes to the gore card at the end and gives it how many barf bags does each one get. So we're not talking, this isn't really like PG hard, typically in here. Aftermath, All Night Long. And there's 3 of those. I'm not familiar with those. Anthropophagus, August Underground, Bay of Blood, The Beyond, Black Past, Bone Sickness. Let's skip ahead here. Itchy the Killer, Maniac, New York Ripper, Pieces. He does enjoy playing a certain clip from a certain actress from Pieces on the channel. If you know about that, you can probably guess which clip it is. Toxic Avenger, Tokyo Gore Police. He's a very good writer. As a matter of fact, he's pretty generous, in the comment section. Years ago, he was talking about, in one of his, I think his Lucio Fulci videos, he was talking about meeting Lucio Fulci and some project that he had been working on that got canceled. And I asked him about his other writing endeavors, and he left me a very long reply. It was very, he really went out of his way to give me a definitive and well-explained answer there. So he's a very good writer. You could tell from his scripts, and he's funny too. So it's a lot of fun. This is the kind of thing I'll be thumbing through constantly, going back to check out some of my favorites. I have to be honest with you. Some of the more extreme stuff I've just gotten away from. I'm probably never going to watch the one August Underground. It's not my thing anymore. But like the Gates of Hell movies, Evil Dead 2. I'm sure the Story of Ricky. I've never seen it. I know that's shocking, but Story of Ricky. Yeah, there you go, from 1991. That's in here. So I got to see that, and of course I'll be going back and looking through this constantly. So there you go, guys. Documentary, a couple TV series, and an awesome book called Sick Flicks Volume 1. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, and come back again next time for some more Physical Media Friday videos. Thanks.